Okay, so sorry about that, folks. We got knocked offline. Florida's still having some internet issues, but hopefully it doesn't happen again. So it's now pushing 2 o'clock, and I have a different mindset here than I did earlier in the day, and that is one that I need to be mindful of where I am. I'd like to finish positive for the day and wrap up. And tomorrow is another day. Sometimes we finish real early. Sometimes we got to play it a little bit longer than we want to. So we're going to put a dent in this, and I can choose. This is one of those things where you can control what you can control. I can choose to take this profit, knock it down. It's a nothing burger. And I come back and play again, another day. What I don't want to do is, been running all day. The market, we didn't catch them. I don't want to try to force the issue in the last 2 hours. I'd rather finish on my terms and start again. So I'm going to kind of watch this a little bit. If I scalp it, I'll let you know, and we'll see where we are. All right. So, we did scalp one over here that took a little bit of pressure off. Of course, that had to turn out to be, a huge runner, right? That would have cleaned it all up, and then we could add that one in. And those are the sorts of things I described to you that everybody else says, oh, I would have, if only, if only, if only, if only, if only, if only. Well, what do they say? If you know, um, there's an old expression. We don't play that game. We trade too frequently. We trade too much. We're here every day, you know. Maybe in the beginning, but it's just you have to break yourself of it. And by using the machinery, we do break ourselves of it. I'm going to get another trade. So, and in fact, what I'm going to do now is we've had a decent run here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take that trade. Okay, so I knocked myself back to par, and we'll hang out. I'm going to reset the strategy, and let's see if we can get another couple of trades in here and finish. I'm taking a chance. I really don't want to, we've gone all day, right? Had a data interruption. I haven't really made a decision. I haven't made a decision to put one trade in. I am looking at things saying, geez, there's another strategy that I really, that I'm familiar with of ours that I think would have done really well. And I'm kind of wishing I had run that, but tomorrow's another day. All right, so I've turned the strategy back on. We'll see if we can get ourselves in the green. Keep you posted here. Let's and if you have any questions, so we've been here and no we didn't draw any blood, they didn't draw any blood, right? We're right back to par, which is okay, right? But again, I don't want to be holding something overnight. I don't want to be going to bed, with a contract on and wake up to, a shit mess. They can sell these things down like crazy overnight. There's no telling where this market's going to open tomorrow. We could gap down, 500 points. Our machines, though, if we set them, they're going to be on it overnight because the markets are open overnight. This is where the banks play, right? They don't leave their bread, exposed. The retail crowd, you get 9:30 to 4. That's it. And you know, buy stock, buy stock, buy stock, buy stock. Okay. Now I could do some shadowing. I could do a little, a couple of little manual trades, but I'm going to choose not to. I'm going to let the strategy play out. See, one of the things is that these are we call C points. C point sell, C point sell. One of the things that I could do is we have a C point strategy, and I could have set the strategy there would have got two huge trades. I take the first C point here, and then once it's up like about $100 or so. I set a break even stop plus a ticket to, and I could have been in that trade the whole way down, you know. And same thing here, catch the first one, catch the first one. Um, but that isn't the strategy that we're running. But we have, in essence, that strategy. I'd have to modify it a little bit, but that would have worked out pretty well. This is a custom Renko chart, custom. They look pretty. You cannot trade this green to red, red to green. You trade too frequently. We can program the machine to do that. The machine cannot make money trading like that. So don't try to trade this thing visually, like doing that green to red. You'll get chewed up. In fact, if you're trying to trade actively during the day, intraday, based on what you see, I think it's a really, really hard way to go. Whatever it is you're looking at, wouldn't it be neat to have a program written and to look at what the results are of that back test are before you spend a month of Sundays trading it, time wise, money wise. The other thing is too, we will frequently get folks that'll send us something and it'll show a back test. Sometimes, if it's too good to be true, it probably isn't true, right? And when you see a back test that is 97% winners, and just crazy, the reality of it is that probably isn't true. And there are some things that you may or may not be aware of, but on some of these advanced bar types, point and figure, custom Renko, line break, range bars, there are some things that if you're not aware of, a strategy can generate, ridiculous performance reports, when in reality, that isn't the way it's going to play out. So we make sure that all of our members during the Q school know the strength of these charts, also know the weaknesses, so that they can discern. I'm not saying that a particular strategy, just because it has a 97% win rate, is unrealistic, isn't going to work. It might work, but it's just that your expectations, it might be set way, way too high, right? And that would be unfortunate, because you might throw the baby out with the bathwater, saying, "Oh man, this thing doesn't work 97% of the time." When if it works 30% of the time, you still could do pretty well. But so having realistic expectations and can help you manage the strategy, but also manage your emotions, and that's what takes time. That's what takes experience. And it just takes time, right? That's also true. Now, we're not a hedge fund, right? I'm not managing anybody's money. And so it's not a solicitation at all. Please know that. So we just got to see point down and see, I'm thinking, that this could be, I could do this manually. I could short it right here and set the stop right above. You know what? Let's do one freehand here. So I can do that. Let me do this. Let me put the strategy. I'm going to disable the strategy for a moment. I'm going to try to pick off a couple of freehand trades. All right. So I've been watching this all day. I think I can do a little better. And so I've got a little trade in here. And my stop is, and I will do this because we're in the last, hopefully the last 15, 20 minutes. If I get a break above 621, I will probably reverse course and take a buy. So we're going to do a little manual trading. We'll see how I do. Now, the 90% or more of our trading is robotic, going in manually. But it is important that you have good acquired trading skill, so that when called upon, you have the confidence to do it. And you also have the confidence in the ability to discern a good strategy versus a bad strategy too. These strategies should, unless it's a total black box. And some of our strategies are a total black box, even to us, right? It's a pure math algo, and we can't even visually tell you, or we can't visually see anything, but it's just doing its thing. But this is fairly visual. So my stop is going to be this little tag right here. I don't want to go above 11,621. We'll see if we can make a few shekels, and maybe we call it a day. So you got to see a little of everything. We had a nice run up earlier in the day, right? And I should have quit while I was ahead. I wanted to get live and show you guys what we're up to, and then we got into the doldrums. Gold is having a nice run, very nice run. Probably going to continue. We got some trades placed on gold. Now you're going to see the strategy potentially go short here, which will be good. We'll be with it, but it won't add another contract. We're just going to stay with one, right? Not going to, start leveraging up, big time or anything like that. No, we're not going to do that. So I'm going to try to stay with it, because I look and I just say, geez, if I took this first C point down and I set it as a break even and I stayed with it, I could have had a nice fat trade. If I had taken this C point long, the first one, and stayed with it, had a little break even, I maybe got shook out here, probably not. I could have had a nice fat trade. So I'm thinking, you know what, if I take this one and I stay with it as a break even, try to just be patient, maybe I can take it down into here. Maybe I get even, better, right? So, it's probably going to be our last trade of the day. And let's see if we can get, some money in our pocket. There are 24 trading days in a month, if you count Sunday night when you're trading futures. So $100 a day, I hate to break it down, that would be an extra $2,400 a month. That's not too bad. If 200, if you take Fridays off, which we like to do, then it's just 20 trading days. It'd be $2,000 a month. 200, $4,000, so forth. 500, it's 10 grand a month. Do you have the patience to manage your emotions like that day in and day out? Maybe. Little bump here. We'll see if we can hold. We don't want to see it break above. I don't want to see it break above that 621.25. Now I could put a stop right on the screen. I'm not going to do that. We do have the tools at TradeStation to do that. Trade right from the screen, which is pretty convenient. They still don't really want to take this thing down, do they? Doesn't appear that way. Mm-hmm. The 5-minute swing machine is trying to get long again. So we're really getting jammed up in here at this. You can see the centerpiece over here, basically 587 to 610, really, really tight range. It's crazy, isn't it? To think that, we had been oscillating, swinging wildly, for the last couple of weeks. And now we just, ratchet down. It's kind of that they've kind of stunted or stunned probably a lot of individual traders. Okay, we're going to take a little bit of heat here. Still very, I wouldn't call this a robot trade because I put it on, but it is pretty mechanical. I know exactly where I'm going to come out, and I will come out. I have swing machine. I have, great visualization on this trade, and we'll see how we do. It's not looking real good to my eye on swing machine right now, but we'll see. Now, I think a positive outlook is important in just about anything you do, but it isn't enough alone. It isn't enough. It isn't enough to have a positive outlook and say, I'm going to play great golf. I'm going to be a great, great golfer. It's important mentally to have that outlook, but you're going to have to do a lot of work to get that done. And you got to have a belief in yourself and a belief in what you're doing. But but it's not a guarantee. A person can work their whole life to be a great golfer and have a belief in themselves, and they just may not become a great golfer. They may not. But um, but I will say this: if you don't have a belief in yourself, you are not going to be a great golfer. That is assured. Think about that. Not a belief in me, not a belief in necessarily swing machine. It's very, very good. It's very, very helpful. But we can take the very same tools and we can put them in the hands of a person who's been through Q school and they can do fabulous. Put them in the hands of another person who hasn't and has what they have. I lose at everything. It always takes me away. I always lose. I always lose. And guess what? They will lose. So it isn't enough just to have a positive attitude and what you're going to do and a belief in yourself, but it's critical to have it. But if you don't, then you might as well not even, you just don't. You don't want to get behind that plane if you think you're going to crash. Don't do it. It's not worth it. And if you're afraid of heights, flying a plane is probably not a good idea. If you have a phobia, right? If you have a phobia, an absolute fear of losing money, then you probably shouldn't do this because you will have losses. Right? And I would just say the same. If you have a fear of heights and phobia, you probably don't want to take up flying lessons. I'd find another hobby, another something to do, right? Where this thing is tight, tight, tight. Okay, I took the scalp. Took the scalp. Oh, that's cheating. I know what you're doing there, bagger. I know what you're doing. You're getting yourself positive. And then and then when you get yourself positive, you're probably going to shut off YouTube and quit while you're ahead. That's cheating. Yeah, yeah, it is. Try to do that in Vegas. Won't let you do it. You can do that. We can quit right here, right now. I'm gonna wait. I'll wait a little bit. We'll see if we get another little C point here, maybe. But I am prepared. We're it's 2:15. I really, really do not want to be in the last hour, right? I got other things I want to do. I don't want to be in the last hour. We save the last hour of the day to look at our options trades, our position trades, and today the account had a little, or actually a lot more volatility than I would have liked. We could have stopped much, much earlier, made for a long day, and but it is what it is, right? So I hope you've had some fun. Um, I'll answer any questions. You're on a little bit of a delay if we can get another little trade, but we are wrapping up here. We might be able to pick one off. I was influenced by Swing Machine because that 5 minute on Swing Machine, although it's down, he's long at 210. I could see that, right? That 5 minute right up here, he's long at 210. And this thing could rip. So I wasn't comfortable staying, even though it looked like it wanted to pull back. And it still looks to my eye to be kind of a bullish wedge shaping up. If this thing does take off, we might get a shot. We can decide. And I may have to put that order on manually. But so it is helpful, even though you may be trading robotically and mechanically 90% of the time, it's still helpful to have some acquired skill and to trade mechanically. I did describe to you earlier, right? It was what, around 12:30, 12 o'clock, we were down, 13, 1400, maybe not even that much, maybe 1200. And, but, you know, I know what the market is capable of. I know what we're capable of. And I felt totally fine that I had plenty of time to work that off. So that comes with, all right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to try to take this one again. We're going to go ahead and try to take it up. We're going to try to go with Swing Machine. And let's see if we can take this up here. All right, so I'm influenced by Swing Machine. See the 1 minute going? 1 minute is going long up there with Swing Machine, and he's going with the 5 minute. So I like that. Swing Machine be all green, and maybe we get ourselves a really nice run here. Don't anybody do it at home. We're not doing this for that, but we're describing why we're doing. We want to take out these little red C points here. Now, if we can take these out, we didn't get a C point long. Let's see if we can just, I'd like to break out through here. Maybe we get back up to 640 or so and put a couple of bucks in our pocket. But it helps, to be able to, and again, I was leaning on the machine in a big, big way earlier in the day. And now at the end, I want to try to help it along, hopefully, and not do too much damage here in the last couple of runs. Okay. And we have a bias here because of swing machine, right? He's long on the 5 minute. He's long in here. So I think we're going to be okay. And there's the C point. So we just don't want now, we just don't want to go below that and see if we can get a pop off. Really still pretty tight here, but I think we're in pretty good shape. And but she is really, really in a tight range here. Now, my focus, when we're doing it manually, my focus has to be really elevated, right? I got to be really paying attention, and for a few minutes, a day, maybe, but I'd rather not. I don't want to live my life this focused on the price action, um, and once in a while, but it's certainly not every day or on every trade. There's no way. Be worn out. And I'll be honest, I don't think it'd be much fun at this point. So I'd rather, it would have been much, much better to get long down in here and just, same here, just let these trades work themselves out. So we got, the strategy is long. It's still long. We get a C point. Swing machine is long. This thing should, operative word, clear. And if it clears this 621, we could get a nice squeeze here in the last minutes of this day. My office is quiet. I don't have a TV. I don't have any other noise. Oh, that's a good question. Why do you trade the NQ and not the ES? I do trade the ES. I think the ES is a better market to trade. I like to trade the NQ because there's more leverage there and it's more volatile. And I like the volatility. But we could certainly, we certainly do trade the ES. You want to have at least whether you're trading futures or options or stocks, individual stocks or ETFs, we believe that you want to have, even if you're a swing trader, about 5 to 7 markets that you trade. 5 to 7. You may not trade all 5 or all 7 in a day or even in a few days, but you want to have 5 to 7 that you're pretty comfortable trading. It's just better. It just is. And there have been studies done on it too. You don't want to be less than 5 and you don't want to be more than 7. 5 to 7 is the sweet spot. And now we do showcase the Nasdaq quite a bit because also too our members like to trade the Nasdaq, and a lot of people do, and it's probably for the juice, the action, and the volatility of it. But again, and Josh, if you're coming in, this is what I would call, this is a manual trade. It's a discretionary trade that I'm putting on here. We're wrapping up. I'm much more comfortable letting the machine do its trading, and but we're going to see if we can finish with this one and call it a day. Or oops. Okay, I'm going to close this trade here. Let me set a stop. I'll try to take this call. Okay. Sorry about that. We had to take a little phone call there. Um, it's kind of interesting. You know, if Matt is listening, he might be listening. We had a nice phone call from a nice gentleman named Matt. We get this a lot. And as we finish out here, I get the strategy back on, let the strategy do its thing here and see if we can clean this up. So while I was on the phone, I let the machine do it. So, but we get this a lot. And the phone call goes something like this. I'm interested in such and such a chart. I'm interested in what you're doing. And I'm like, okay. And and what I kind of want to know is what is one's expectations? How much time does a person have to devote to trading during the day? And this particular person, not picking on him at all. I'm not. So if he's listening, I'm not picking on you. But this is, I will not blow smoke up somebody's dress. Okay. I'm not going to blow smoke. I've been doing this a long time. But and so I'm not trying to dissuade anybody. But a person needs to have realistic expectations. And if I think the person does not have realistic expectations, we won't go forward. It's just that I won't hang up on the person, as this person, either he hung up on me or we lost each other. I'm not sure, but he seemed not to like what he heard. The person said he's been trading. He wants to trade Forex. I ask, how are you making your decisions now? I'm not really sure. How long have you been trading? A couple of years. Okay. I listen to this, listen to that. So it wasn't really clear. How much money, and then I didn't want to know, I never want to know how much money somebody has for trading capital, but realistically, how much money do you expect to want to make in a given month? Because I want to make 2% a day. 2% a day. Now this is the sort of thing that you hear on the internet all the time, right? 1% a day, 2% a day, right? It's not even how we keep score. But I asked him, I said, do you know what the rule of 72 is? And I said, no. So the rule of 72 is you just take the percentage as a gut check. 72 divided by 2%. That means every 35 trading sessions, every month and a half, you're going to double your money. For someone who, and then, so I think those are very lofty expectations, quite frankly. But then I asked the other piece to this is how much money, if you were to meet your expectations, if you were to live out your dream, trading the number of hours a day that you want to trade. In this case, it was 1 to 4 at most. On a monthly basis, how much money do you need to make? And a lot of times, as it was in this case, like, well, sure, that's a really good question. I've never really thought about it. And that kind of blows my mind a little bit because, if you're about to take a job or you're about to buy a business, I'm going to want to know the cash flow of a particular business, right? So if you're going to embark upon a trading career or a trading, you want to be a trader, a professional trader, don't you think you want to figure out, what you need to make it worth your while? I mean, we don't want it to be, a job at McDonald's, right? So what would that be? So I kind of pressed him and he says, $10,000 a month. Oh, okay. So very limited capital, very limited or no trading experience to speak of, and wants to go out and make $10,000 a month. That's $120,000 a year. It's just not realistic expectations from there. It just isn't. I mean, I would never even get in the person. I wanted to answer his other questions. It don't even know how to keep score, and then hangs up on me. I could have learned a lot, right, Matt? You could have learned a lot. Um, I'm not going to blow smoke up anybody. This is not a game for me. I approach it game like. I enjoy what I do. This trading for me is a business. So, and it is for our members. They work very, very hard, put in a lot of time, a lot of effort. This is not, we are not Robinhood. This is not, all right, let's throw something on here. This is not the martingale system. This isn't, double your money, double your money, double your money type of BS. And there's so much that you cannot learn something. You cannot learn anything in life if you don't know what you don't know. And that's the first recognition. And most of the young folks, unfortunately, in that way, they hang up. They can't admit to knowing that they don't know something. You'll never learn a thing, Matt, honestly, if you don't know what you don't know. Need to, recognize it. There's so much that I don't know. It's really, but we say as well, we only take on, by the way, we do not accept everybody. We don't. So don't think just because we're here on the YouTube that we're in Stock Market Caddy is a labor of love. I enjoy what I do and I enjoy working with folks, but we only accept a handful of people each year. And if I think person is not, it doesn't have realistic expectations, is immature trader, then I don't want to waste their time and I don't want to waste mine. And it just won't happen. It's and if you don't know how to keep score, this is the other thing. A lot of people, it's what do you mean I don't know how to keep score? I keep score on the money. No, we keep score based on the profit factor. That keeps us running a business. We divide our gross profit by our gross losses. We need a profit factor. Oh, but by the way, which was the saving grace, I said, have you made $10,000? Now, this is a gentleman who wants to make $10,000 in a month trading Forex, no discipline, no real experience that I can speak of. He wants to make 10,000 a month, and he hasn't made 10,000. He's lost 10,000 in 2 years. So the first suggestion I would make for anybody would be to stop. Take a good hard look in the mirror, take a good hard look around, figure out what it is you've been doing, stop it, and decide where you want to get an education. Does not have to be here. In fact, it won't be here. Anybody hangs up on me like that, and I take time out, is just, there's no way. So Matt, don't call back. Don't. It's it's the Robinhood, the AMC, the game stunk. It's I don't know why, but if you have realistic expectations, and you don't even have to have had any experience. See, I draw a comparison. There's I speak of Logan. Logan is one of our folks. This is so different, right? So different. Logan calls me a few years ago, and on a Sunday afternoon, Don, I've never traded a thing. I want to know what you know. Logan, how much time do you got? I got all the time in the world, Don. I'm going to make time. Really? Yep. You got the working capital? Yep. I'm prepared to do whatever it takes. What are your expectations, Don? Very low. Very, very low. Logan today is independently wealthy. He's on a Twitter stream. Look him up. He's touring the country with his wife in a huge motorhome. He did exceptionally well, but he was exceptionally mature young person, and he worked very hard and was committed and just worked really, really hard. All right, Adam, young fellow, Buffalo, New York, calls me at 3 in the afternoon on New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve, 3 in the afternoon to talk about the markets. Very mature, 30 something. Works extremely hard at his trading. Trades robotically, does exceptionally well. So, anywho, I'm happy to chat, but if I ask, if you do call and you want to chat and you want to ask me questions, we can chat and I'll be frank, but don't hang up on me or on anyone. Somebody makes time for you, that's kind of rude and it's very immature. This is PD Legend. What do you have for us old guys with a ton of money and all the time in the world? Um, this is what we do. And thanks for the question. It doesn't. It can be young or old. We have folks in their 20s that are very mature. I always just say mature traders. You can be in your 20s. You can be older. You can be retired. We are a mentoring site for folks that want to trade mechanically and robotically to get their emotions out of their trading. Oh, and not a ton of money. Okay, not a ton of money. Well, yeah, I have seen folks with, an account of $250,000 that are undercapitalized. What do I mean by that? You can have an account for 250,000, and if you over leverage that account, you are undercapitalized. You can trade futures with very little money. I don't know what the minimum accounts are, but somewhere around $2,500 to $5,000. However, you are not going to open up an account at $2,500 or $5,000 and be making $10,000 a month, in your first 2 months or something. That isn't going to happen. But it is a good place to start. You can trade micros, and you need to learn to trade proportionately and mechanically. The process that we teach about trading this robotic fashion and mechanically is that I don't need to know, and I don't want to know how much money somebody has. It's none of my business. But the process is the same. So whether a person has, starting out small, or someone has, 50,000 or more, the process is the same. It's all scalable. See, what we teach is, and I'll share this with everybody. There's quite a few folks here for right now about how to keep score. How to keep score. I'll go ahead and answer that. You see, and it's one of those things that's hard to learn something. You have to be aware of what you don't know, and so the gentleman was talking about 1 to 2% a day. Well, we don't even talk in those terms. Percentage return. When you have somebody that says, and you think about it, we've all had this golf partner, right? That says, I made 10% of my money last year. Okay, good, right? That's the first reaction. You want to be polite, say that's good. But 10% on what? 10% on 10,000? Okay, you made $1,000. 10%, I get it. I'm experienced, was a broker in the 90s, trying to make my way now, tried everything out there without much success. Well, okay. Well, I think this is an important part. I'm happy to speak with you personally, if you want to call PD and chat. if you, and you're also welcome to visit the website. I did not. I spent my career from 1981 to the early 2000s teaching surgeons how to do surgery, believe it or not. In the early 2000s, my wife Susan and I, Susan worked for IBM and for Lotus Software, we built these systems to trade mechanically, robotically. And in a lot of trial and error, a lot of frustration, a lot of money spent. We did it ourselves. And then shortly, I think it was 2012, 2011. This is before Twitter, before all that. We began with Stock Market Caddy. It was just an idea, and we tell the story about how that came to be. So Stock Market Caddy is a mentoring site, right? So we don't buy or sell anything based on narratives. It's all money flow, as you see here, right? We're flowing now. Now it's been, our account has had a little more volatility today than we would have liked. But the way that we structure our membership is we have a monthly membership that is $100 a month, and it's month to month. And we show at night a video view of all of our algos, and we have dozens of them, which are really, really good stuff, really, really good stuff. And we make a video of that every night, and we have most of our members, the vast majority are monthly members, and they see those videos for their swing trades, for their investing, long-term stuff. And they may not watch every night, but we don't know what night they're going to watch. So we approach it pretty much the same way. It isn't me drawing trend lines or talking about narratives or gold or inflation or any of that. It's just showing the algos, right? In fact, I try my best not to give an opinion on the market. I really, really do. When you think about how the membership is structured, it's month to month, so you can quit. Very, very rarely do we lose anybody. It's really, really good value, and we've had folks for years. So, but we never come out and say, like, if you join for a year, it's such and such. We don't. So it's month to month, and we're very comfortable with that. Now, for the person who has time, for the person who has the passion, the interest, and maybe some trading capital, that says, "Hey, Don, I the swing machine you're looking at, I would have liked to have taken that trade at 232 and made that 600. I want this and that, I want those tools." So we have something that we call an annual membership, and we have a handful, really only a handful every year. We've been growing steadily, but I don't want to, it's just my wife and I, so we don't advertise. And so the way we structure this is we have about 70 proprietary indicators, show me studies, radars, and strategies, trading robots, and over 70 of them, more than you could possibly use in, maybe a lifetime. And we're constantly always working on them, right? So I do a lot of this at night. It's what I love to do. So for the person who's interested in that, none of them are for sale. And there's a reason for that too. If we were to sell a program, you or a person might infer from that program is going to automatically vacuum up money for me, and I can jump the shark and I don't have to be a trader. So we want to disavow anyone of that notion. These are robot-assisted trading devices. Intuitive Surgical is a device I've worked with. You may have seen it advertised on your expressways, robotic surgery. You need to be a surgeon to operate that device, okay? Just because you sit in it doesn't mean you can do open heart surgery or do a prostatectomy on somebody. You need to be, same thing with an autopilot on a plane. You need to have a pilot's license. You don't have to have a license to be a trader, but you do need to have good acquired trading skill. So this is what we do. We don't let anyone join at an annual level. I've actually returned people's money because I've had people just deposit the money and I've returned it. I've said, no, what we want you to do, iSearch. Yeah, iSearch. Yep. I first owned this sock in the 30s. Yeah, I have personal experience with iSearch. Um, Great company, great product. Uh, the um, what we do is no matter, we've had folks with no trading experience, and then we've had folks. We have a gentleman. His name is Gary. He's from Kansas, and he called me one time. He said, "Don, I've been trading futures my whole life. My father's been trading futures his whole life. What in the hell can you do for me?" That's where it started. Like, okay. I said, well, I said, this is who we are. This is what we're about. And it was great, actually. And so, but even Gary had to go through what we call a Q school. A Q school. It's a 3-week program that is pretty well laid out, very well laid out. There's over 25 hours of self-paced educational hours. But what we do is when a person signs up for the Q school, I'm with them at minimum every day. Now, it may not be all day, it's up to them, but I will work. I promise this, I work harder than they do. I promise that. And we want to make sure that they're familiar with how we approach the markets. And so think of it as kind of like a trial. And during that 3-week program, you will get a view similar to what you're seeing now. We set up the view, and you will be, keeping your trading score right from the beginning. And at the end of that 3 weeks, you're going to know the answer to the question you have right now. Is this guy for real? And are any of these tools going to help me? And that's okay, PD. PD, probably not. One of the things that we do is, we're going to show you how we approach the markets. But in the beginning, we just kind of watch and listen first to what you've been doing. And because everyone has their own trading personality, their own trading approach, and we're pretty familiar with what we need to do. And if we can fit some of the things that we're already doing and help you around the edges of your own trading, that's where we'll kind of go. But so we're not out to radically impose, this is the way, but it is very mechanical. And so the idea is that we lay out this whole buffet table of mechanical tools, and it's in order. We actually start with time bars, the swing machine, then we move to point and figure, then we move and we go through all the advanced bar types with specific programs, specific tools, similar to what you're seeing even here. Then at the conclusion of that 3 weeks, the person, you're going to have a really, really good idea as to who we are, what the tools are about, and then you're in a position to decide whether or not you want to become an annual member. If you become an annual member, at that point, we will credit you back 30% of what you spend on the Q School. And I should mention the monthly membership is $100 a month. The Q School is $3,000. If you finish the Q School and you say, hey, Don, you're a nice guy, I learned a ton, I'm going to go off and do it on my own, that's fine. It's certainly transferable. We're very, confident that you'll be very pleased with what you've learned. We hope you'll stay. If you choose to stay as an annual member, we will credit you back $1,000. So we'll reduce it from 3 to 2. And then the annual membership is $4,000 for the first year. We reduce it a little bit the next year, and we actually extend the time a little bit. We have a little loyalty reward, sort of speak. But you get all of our files sent to you. You do need to be on TradeStation at that point. You don't need to be on TradeStation during the Q School, but you do need to be on TradeStation um, to take advantage of the annual. And then you're underway. We have our I think we have a pretty good success rate. We have every person who has gone through the Q school, with the exclusion of 2, have gone on to be annual members, just 2. And in both instances, I think they sold themselves short. One person just was not, you don't have to be a programmer. You don't. But oh, you have TradeStation already. Well, then, wow. Yeah, then you're really the folks who already have trades. And now the Q school is all on TradeStation, right? And so TradeStation is really, really good, right? All right. So, I mean, I spent my career in surgery. I needed a platform. I don't want to talk poorly of others. They're fine. But TradeStation for us, we couldn't do what we're doing without them. Now, I don't have a relationship with them, but I use their product. It's just phenomenal. It's surgical. It really is really, really good. And we really know that platform, and we really push the envelope with it. It's really, really good. PD. um, I started to explain though, so I kind of got sidetracked a little bit about how we structure and why. But I hope what we're trying to do, if you think about what we've done on our website and our membership, is what I'm actually trying to do is give people the opportunity to say, no, this isn't for me, without expending too much time or capital. Right? I don't want anybody to sign up as an annual unless they have more time with us and have more time to work through things, so that they feel real good about what they're about to do. So we really want to take that time. And it depends upon one's schedule. We've done this differently. It's usually about 3 weeks, but we say 3 plus, because if a person is working, then we'll work around that schedule. So I've had one person that okay, so we got a little C point down here. We're kind of getting to the last hour, so we'll try to, at minimum here, try to break even. We're a little distracted, but we still got the strategy running, so we'll stay with it here. I lost my train of thought. Let me go back to a couple of screens here. Well, basically, though, we try to give everybody, our full attention, so that they have every opportunity to say, no, this isn't for me. But that just really hasn't been the case. And we're available. So what we do as well, once you're an annual member, you get all the files. They're encrypted. They're sent to you. They do expire after a year and a couple of weeks. But we also do, whenever the markets are open, we're broadcasting not through YouTube, but through our Zoom. And so our members can patch in and can chat with us. We don't maintain the intensity that we do during the Q school. But if there's an issue with a program or an issue, we're available. We never, people know where and how to reach us. So it's not like we disappear. And we've been doing this, a long time now. I started to go down the road of how to keep score, though. I don't think I finished that. And I think it's really, really important. And I'll just share this for the benefit of those that are here. Because if you don't know how to keep score in anything you're doing, it's really hard to know what to work on. And are you getting it done? And we have you keeping score and in keeping right from the beginning and in this fashion. Most people are keeping score with the money. The issue with that is, if you are trading, you may not agree, may not see it, but you're actually trading greed and fear. And if you're trading greed and fear, you will lose. Bank on it. You will lose. If you are trading percentages, if somebody tells you, and this is where I was going with this example, if somebody tells you, hey, I made 10% if you're like me, you don't say anything like, "Yeah, that's great," but like 10% on what, right? If you're Warren Buffett, you got 100 million to make 10%. Okay, great. That's great, and you do it 30 years in a row. That's phenomenal. But 10% on 100 grand, so what, right? So percentage return doesn't tell me anything. And then you get the person who's on the Twitter sphere and says, well, I win 90% of the time. Oh, okay, well, that sounds impressive, right? But that doesn't tell me anything either. Because what if the person makes $1,000 9 times in a row and then pukes out 30,000, right? That doesn't tell me anything. So percentage return doesn't tell me anything. The win-loss ratio doesn't tell me anything. So how do we keep score? And the way that we keep score is in this fashion. Let's say last week you grossed 10,000. This week, last week you grossed 10,000 gross profit. You had a gross loss of 5,000. You had a net of $5,000. This week, you had a gross profit of 1,000. You had a gross loss of 200, and you netted 800. Which week did you have a better trading week? First week when you made 5,000, or this week when you made 800? We would say this week. If you take the gross profit of the first week, 10,000, divided by the gross loss, 5,000, right? And you netted 5, but you have a profit factor of 2. That means for every dollar you lost, you made 2. Okay, we just got another order in here. I'm not usually trading this late in the day. So we'll keep an eye on it, though. We'll try to finish in the green here. The second week, gross profit of 1,000 divided by the gross loss of 200, you have a profit factor of 5. That means for every dollar you lost, you made 5 to 1. If your profit factor is below 1, you are losing money. Whether you're trading stocks, options, you're losing, and you're going to continue to lose. If you are flipping coins, your profit factor should be somewhere between 0.8 and 1.1 if you're flipping coins. Well, how come mine is so poor, Don? Well, a lot of times because it's all the emotion in there. If your profit factor is from 1 to 2, you're working hard. You're putting shingles on a roof. If your profit factor is from 2 to 3, you're average in our view. If your profit factor is over 3, you are a money-making machine. You're a money-making machine. If you don't know how to keep score, it's hard to know what's working, what isn't. And so we can have a profit factor of, a 5 or 10, and maybe the profit is only $1,000 to 2. Or maybe it's, 10 to 20. That we can only get out what the market will give us, but that's how we go about keeping score. And it's also how we go about grading our robots and comparing and contrasting what they're doing versus what we're doing. So it's very mechanical. It's very, well, it's just that. It's very robotic, very mechanical. So it's very, very important. Hey, you've seen me trade. Oh, okay. I understand. I do. This, we didn't get here by accident, right? We got here and we didn't have anybody to go to, right? We had to figure this out ourselves. And unfortunately, there's just a lot of garbage out there. But God, there just is. But that's who we are. That's how we approach it. And we also think about there are basically there's only 4 ways to trade. Trend follow long, trend follow short, counter trend short, counter trend long. That's it. That's all you can do. But it's important to know on every trade what type of trade is going in, because the expectations around each trade are different. And if you don't know what type of trade is going in, you don't you can't have realistic expectations. And when you don't have realistic expectations, guess what grows? Anxiety, fear of the unknown, right? I know what this strategy is capable of doing, right? So I'm, very comfortable. I'm a little uncomfortable because I only got about 40 minutes. I don't even want to be in this market much longer here. And I don't want to embarrass myself. So at least we make a couple $100 here. Hasn't been the best of trading days for this particular strategy. I'll run something maybe a little tweak it a little different tomorrow, but we'll let this run down here. So the other piece to this is 4 different ways of trading. There are 4 styles of trading. Discretionary trader, which is where most people begin and end. Discretionary. I bought this because of this. I bought that. I sold this. I sold that because of this, that. God only knows. Not repeatable, but discretionary. And I say most people begin there and most people will end there. Let me just take a quick peek here as okay, we're going to let this finish out. The next style is mechanical. Now, most people are, moving average this, MACD that. Much of that is garbage. If it worked, that would be it. It really, there's a few things that traditional things that work, but most of it's garbage. So don't, spend your life trying to decide, is it a 2 moving average or an 8 moving average? This shit just doesn't work. But becoming mechanical is certainly better than, just being discretionary. So what we try to do is take somebody, we try to move from discretionary. You got to be a good discretionary trader, though. That said, even though we want to move you from to being a discretionary trader, you want to be a good discretionary trader. So we can help a person there, we believe. Then mechanical, then robotic. And the difference between a robotic trader and a mechanical trader is a robot is purely making all the decisions. We might mechanically decide to come in and to scalp something, as we might do here. And I just scalped it. We're at the end of the day. We'll stay with this and see if we can get off one more and see if we get ourselves green for the day. Let me just adjust. I just got to adjust the strategy. We got to keep the strategy in sync. And then the last style of trading is becoming a robotic hedger, where we have strategies that are actually competing with each other, which is, at another whole dimension. And the reason why we do that is to keep our account volatility to a minimum. And that's what we're trying to do. And it takes a few weeks. And then I did have one person say, it's actually one of the persons that chose not to go further. And it was kind of weird because he missed the entire last week. So I'm not really sure. And then I had to check on him. I thought maybe he got hurt or something. And then he said, oh man, this is going to take me a lifetime. No, he said, it's going to take me a year. And I'm like, no, it's actually going to take you a lifetime because we're working on this constantly, right? Our members are working on their game constantly working on it. The market, is forever changing, right? So I hope I answered your questions. And I'm sorry we got interrupted with the phone call. And I don't usually take the phone call during the YouTube. We started out. We had a nice run up in the morning. I continued to play. This does look like we could pick off here. I could put in a manual. I still have the machine running the strategy, so we'll stay with it. We'll see if it picks off a long order. But we are trying to trade. We have systems that our ideal, if time is limited and you want to just trade for an hour, a mechanical system. This particular program needs usually a few hours. We wound up in here a lot longer today, instead of a number of questions. But we're not in here trying to trade every minute of every day all week long, right? We're not in the market nearly as much as you might think. But if there's any other questions that I can answer, feel free. These little dots are marking the C points of ABC structures for us. So if I was going to take this trade, I'd put the stop right at about 591. If I was going to do it visually, it's really, really tempting here because of the last minutes, but we'll see. We'll let the strategy play it out. We try to start early in the day and want to finish our day early, and we want to start early in the week and finish our week early, and get into a routine of winning, truly, of making money and holding ground. Make money, hold ground, make money, hold ground. It does no good to make the money and give it back. Make money and give it back, give it back, give it back, and be real inconsistent. So, and there are some very specific steps that we have folks to go through. It's more so the third week and trying to make this transition from becoming a discretion, to mechanical, but more of a robotic trader. Now this NASDAQ could get really frenetic here in the last hour. So usually we're out of here, but we'll let it play out here. Just so I understand, is this an actual robot you install that trades, or do you take trades manually? No, it's trading by itself. Yeah. Yeah, I can intervene. And I have a couple of times today. I didn't help it. PD. I didn't help it. In fact, I actually, and so that's what we described earlier. If you go back and even here, you may not want to go back and hear the whole video, but if I have a threshold that I'm trying to stay away from, score wise, and if I exceed that threshold, then I may be more apt to intervene and to bring my the trade, the account back into into a comfort range. Oh, just right. Is that an actual override? Yeah, they get they have the very same programs. Yep. The other thing that we do for members is there's a couple of things. One, when they join, we never increase their price for however long we're doing this, which hopefully is going to be years. We've been here for years. We also we're always working on new programs, and we make those programs available to the annual members at no additional cost. Also, if a member, which this happens a lot, a member says, Don, I was seeing this, I was seeing that, or I heard this or heard that, or something, that they wanted to do, and they want us to try to program it, we will program it if we haven't already. And we'll do the back testing and the forward testing, and we'll do all that at no additional cost too. The only catch there is that if it is something, we have a beta group, a beta testing. We make everyone aware of the beta testing. If it passes muster with everybody, it will ultimately go in the library and everybody gets to trade it. So, but to that extent, it works to hopefully everyone's advantage. So we do that, and you don't have to be a programmer, but we haven't run into anything yet that we haven't been able to program. So we can, we have, so we have folks running all different things. There's one gentleman, he's running a particular strategy on a classic Renko chart. And in its program, you can set the clock, you can set clocks to it, profit target, stop loss, trailing stops, just all kinds of, all sorts of optionality. You see, we can go in and look at the models. We can calculate historically how long a winning trade is usually in for, and you can, set it to, if I'm still in the trade after X number of minutes, even on an advanced bar type, take me out. We spend quite a bit of time during the Q school going through these back tests, understanding them, how to use them. The back test is not, there is not a holy grail. There is not. We do not have a holy grail. We have programs that will run sometimes weeks, months at a time, and you'd swear it is a holy grail. But we always caution everybody, it isn't. The market will change, and you have to be prepared. Okay, we took a little loss there. Have to be prepared to. Hey Ted, my dog wants now. He knows it's market park time. Not yet, Ted. Not yet. I'm usually done. Lost my train of thought. Ted, don't distract me. Go lay down. Go lay down. We'll go in a little bit. He comes over and he sits like he's praying. I lost my train of thought. But we will do some programming. Oh, I was going to go on the back test. A lot of people will spend a whole lifetime back testing, and we do a ton of that, right? We do, but and we show folks how to do it, how to interpret it. It's really important to understand that a back test is just a back test. What's happened in the past may or may not happen in the future. Okay, so then what? Where the back tests are critically important is it gives us something to measure our performance against. So maybe a back test on a particular strategy shows us making, $50,000 over, a 3-month period. Maybe. Maybe you do better than that. Maybe you don't. But if you're able to measure and keep, track of what you're doing versus the back test, if in the first few weeks, the first several weeks, you're running at 50% of the back test, then you know what what the efficiency is of the strategy. And maybe that's acceptable, maybe it isn't. So, maybe the strategy says, hey, you should be making $50,000 over 3 months, but you're only running it at 30 or 50% efficiency. Maybe that's acceptable, like I say, and maybe it isn't. Maybe it'd be okay. But it gives you something to shoot against and to measure. And that's what we're doing in a big way, right? So we have folks from all different backgrounds. We have a number of software engineers, all kinds of backgrounds. And we're not going to do much more here today. I'm not usually in the market at this late hour. And don't want to take a last minute hit here. So I might very well intervene. And we'll see if we can be opportunistic. So I'm going to turn the strategy off. And it's going to close that position. So we'll close the position. For me, it's no big deal. Would I like to have had a green day? Strategy is off. If I see an opportunity here, in fact, we'll go ahead and we'll try to take it off of this C point, and I won't take it down below 11,591, right? So, but I'm not, I could trade this. I have other tools to trade custom wrinkles visually, probably much better than what we're seeing here. But we'll see if we can try to just pick off and see if we can get ourselves at least back to par. Swing machine on the 5-minute is long at 235. So I'd like to stay with that, and I think we could still see if we can get a little bit of a short squeeze here at the end. If you have any other questions, feel free. Yeah, but all our annual members have everything that I have, and they configure it in a way that, well, we show them exactly how, we set them up. So when they're done the Q school, they have exactly the same setup that I have, exactly the same tools. But, then they save their desktops and then they can configure it to their liking, and they all do. And it's always a little different. We have, one of the other things that we teach, other people can say this, but we teach it and we show you how. We have zero tolerance for negative outliers. You will have losing trades, but should not have major losing trades, zero tolerance for it. And we use the machine for that in a big way. And of course, the strategies. So that what's different is, for us, I have an eye, a casual eye on my account, but I'm not grinding on every individual trade. Each individual trade is just an individual trade. It doesn't really carry any significance for me, one way or the other. It's just another shot. Like around the golf. Yeah, I'm not going to shoot 80 with just one shot. Okay, bag is a little pooped and tired. I got to take Ted to the dog park. I just want to say thanks for everyone for stopping by. If you have any other questions, you're more than welcome to visit the website. You're more than welcome to follow for free on Twitter or on YouTube. And you're more than welcome to call. I'll take your phone calls 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. anytime in the afternoon. A lot of times I'm at the dog park. And we've been doing this a long time, and we're proud of what we've done. I will share this is that the CME has run some challenges. We have placed in two of them. The last one we were at, it was a weekly challenge. I followed Swing Machine and actually Custom Rinko. And at 5 a.m. on the last day, we were number 2 out of 1,600 traders. I finished number 7. The program before that, they had 1,400 traders. And the night before, we were 10, stayed up overnight trying to win the thing. We got as close to 7 or 8 overnight. I did, and simply just kind of ran out of time. They cut it off at 1 o'clock on a Friday. It was a whole week, and we finished number 20. So we finished on the first one, 20 out of 1,400, and then 7 out of 1,600. And we used our tools, and it was all mechanical. Now, I didn't stay up round the clock at the beginning of the week to get there. I told our members what we were going to do. And I said, if I was in the top 10 on the last night, I would stay up to try to win the thing, which is in the top 3, which is what I tried to do. And to the credit, those other folks were very, very good. And I always want to just stay within, striking distance. So I want to thank everybody. If you got any other questions, we're going to sign off. We're in a little bit of a delay. Let me clear. We can take a quick peek. Let me clear all this writing here. We'll try. Let me just clear all this. And we'll take a look at, this is Swing Machine fully. and pretty choppy right here, right now. If we were to take a peek at, here's the daily, let's take a look at the ES on a hourly basis. We can just change the radar right to 60-minute. So the 60-minute on the ES contract went along 28 hours ago, which was what, yesterday at noon. You're up 6 grand. The NQ on a 60-minute, 26 hours ago, not unusual. You're up 6,700. Here's the YM. This is on an hourly basis. You could be using options. 29 hours ago, we get 28, 26, 29 hours, 41.75. When did the VIX turn down? Let's put that on an hour. It'll be about the same time, 31 hours ago. So that was the heads up. The VIX started coming in at about 9 a.m. yesterday. The Russell, we'll put that on an hourly. So you can choose, your time frames, but 3,800. And then gold, and we are long gold, and we actually tweeted some of this out on the hour. It was a big trade, and it still is a really good move. It was 99 hours ago, $7,500. Oil, that's the October contract. We may have to double check that. That may not be the current contract. I haven't traded oil here in the last week or so. So I think that's good. We got to roll that. PD, it was a pleasure. If you're already on TradeStation, oh man, you definitely want to nose around the website, nose around the videos. You could be a whole lot closer than you realize. And it would just, if you're already on TradeStation, that's a pretty smooth transition. All right, we're going to say good night and good luck, everybody. On a daily basis, I would just say that this is pretty wild too. Let's just put the VIX on a daily so we give everybody a chance to see. You can see the daily. We were in panic sell here, and the VIX was in euphoria. And we told our members on Sunday night that look for the bounce. And it would probably come on Monday morning between about 4:15, 4:30. It came at 5:30 in the morning. And we're right here. We're just in the middle of the range, 37.61. I mean, that's right where we are. We're dead in the middle. We could go either way at this point. This is where it gets dangerous, playing at the extremes. So we put option contracts on a position. When we go position trading, we like to use options. So we trade futures intraday, intra-evening, intraday, and we'll sometimes use them to go overnight. But for the most part, if we're going overnight, we're going to probably use options and use our futures to hedge them if necessary. But this is just simply, a bounce to the middle. That's all we think it is, really. So everybody who joins as a monthly member, we also give you a 1-day hall pass to come in and see what we're doing intraday. So just know that. Good luck, everybody. We'll see you in the markets. Any questions? Send us a shout.